Hello, greetings, and welcome to Airground. This is a place where we speak to creatives, and today we're speaking to an amazing gospel artist who doesn't need much of an introduction. He's a multi-award-winning artist. He has done so much to raise the standard of gospel music in Zimbabwe and also take the Zimbabwean flag beyond the borders. Everton Mlalazi, welcome to Airground.
Hi,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Great.
I'm well. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to be speaking to you. You're a busy man, and your music has been entertaining us and also blessing us for quite some time.
Well, thank you. I mean, look, just the opportunity to sit down with Earground. I mean, who would have thought I would be sitting on an Earground platform? I'm so much chuffed, actually.
Thank you so much.
To be here. Yeah.
Great. You know, I've been following you for some time. I think it's been 3 years. First it was The Vine, and then your solo career. Yeah. But the first time that I got a chance to watch you was recently at the Spirit of Praise, the 9th edition. Take us back to your early days in music.
So, I mean, I would say, obviously, I think it's a cliche now for every musician. You say, you know, I started when I was young, when I was 5 years old, and then, you know, so I'll probably skip that. And just mention that without a doubt, I'm a proud Seventh-day Adventist. You know, at heart. I'm a member of the SDA Church, and I love my church. And what I've noticed growing up has always been that we're wired to sing more of a cappella music. True. And that's why, I mean, our church has met, you know, powerful vocalists in groups like Shower Power,
the legendary.
Legendary, of course. Shower Power, now there's Dan Music, there's Radiance, you know, Femfay, and so many others, you know. So I then, you know, at some point from around the year 2000 to the year 2015, I was in an ensemble called Lighthouse. Which was, I mean, extremely powerful, still is, I believe, in the Adventist circles. And I think I was music director for the group for many years. Until I felt that it was probably time to move. And the movement for me was really the advent or the beginning or the formation of The Vine.
You founded The Vine?
Yes. Okay. Which was an idea that I had with a few friends to say, why don't we, you know, try and bring in music with instruments in our church. I mean, having traveled, now I had figured that in the States, in the UK, even in Europe, Germany, I've been, Switzerland, etc. I've noticed now they play music, you know. So I figured we needed that also back here at home.
But was it easily accepted? Because
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Obviously, it comes with its challenges of what is this, what is it trying to bring in, etc. But I believe that slowly but surely, you know, people are warming up to it. I've seen that there are churches now, Adventist churches, that actually have bands. You know, where they actually, you know, they run a service with a band.
Interesting.
And it's interesting how that has now panned out, and I'm very excited about that dimension in the church.
You know, interesting, because when I look at your biography and your story, you were born in Harare, but spent the greater part of your childhood in Nyamandlo. And then you came back to Harare in Glenora. That's where you did your primary education. You know, I did my secondary education in Glenora too. So I have a very strong connection to Glenora. But what did this upbringing, you know, rural or urban, do to you musically? What fed your imagination?
I mean, so growing up, the very fact that I had a chance to live in Nyamandlo with my mother, you know, she didn't come from there. But you know how our parents would do it. Where
they get married, the woman goes to the village. Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, and then after some time, my father felt it was necessary that we all moved in and we started living together in Glenora, and that's where I grew up. So I mean that difference now between growing, the formative years in Nyamandov, Ekaya, and then now in Harare, which is the hub.
Yes.
And then growing up, it just made me an emotional being. And because of that, you find out that when I sing, it's definitely coming from the heart. Very passionate about what I'm singing. I love to really express myself. And I think it comes from just this whole movement, you know, it just creates this person that just wants to be heard, you know. And so sometimes others feel you're too emotional, but that's who I am. I think it really connects to how you know, I grew up.
You know, making emotional music that's uplifting and in an environment where, you know, up-tempo popular music is trendy. Were you not tempted at some point to get into the more upbeat music?
I've been, and I've been asked by many people, why don't you, I mean, you've got the vocal ability to do so, why don't you just give us one or two? Why don't you do a piano one? Why don't you? I mean, all of those, you know, have come. But you see that I'm as a musician, I'm quite open. So whilst, I mean, what really makes me is worship, you know. I've also grown to do now mid-tempo sort of music. Now Nanyasha Zashe, which I just performed to my crowns just recently. It's now mid-tempo music, Lina Mandla, all those songs. Now there's quite even the song we did with the Vine, it's quite also mid-tempo. Not yet fast tempo, but so it's trying to balance. In fact, what we did to try and balance it, that's why a lot of the music in the Vine has orchestra. It's trying to bring in the classical aspect of it and just tone it down a bit from just singing music with the band only, which wouldn't have been easily acceptable.
Let's look a bit at your body of work. You released your debut album in 2021, and it did well. We saw it, you know, dominating the airwaves. You then followed up with a couple of singles that also did well. My favorite is Mlalazi. I hope I pronounce it so well. The creative process of making that music, what was involved?
All of my music is really born out of, in most instances, my own experiences, and that's why one of my push statements is my music is my journey, because I'll tell you, funny story, it's a song that just worships and praises God for who He is, no matter what. And at that time, we started COVID. It's the time when everyone was asking, what is this animal? Because you didn't know, you didn't understand. Next time you heard so-and-so is gone, so-and-so. And that same album was Maria Mushanduki, a song that we wrote just when I got, I think it was after, because I got COVID myself, and then I was on oxygen and all sorts of things. And the first song I wrote was, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. I feel no evil, because I had managed to survive. It was a difficult moment, I think the most difficult moment about COVID was not being sick with COVID. It was knowing that you're sick and someone else is sick, and then you hear that they have just passed away.
Wow.
So what you're always afraid of or thinking is, so I could be the next. Because we always knew COVID would just, at some point, it's as if you're doing okay, but suddenly it can just go haywire, and then you hear that someone is normal. So that was the fear that I had. But that God took me through it, and I came out alive. My wife also got it, and we all, that really, really required that we appreciate who God is, and that He does not change, no matter what.
And we have seen the hand of God in your music, what He has done. You're one of the artists in Zimbabwe that I say He has done so amazing and proudly raised the Zimbabwean flag at different platforms in Nigeria, in South Africa, and many other countries. We're going to take a small break, but we're going to look into some of those achievements and your experience, what you've learned there, and what it means for your career and also for Zimbabwe. Stay tuned. I'm speaking to Everton Mlalazi, a gospel artist, a multi-award-winning gospel artist. You just won the Best Gospel Artist at the Bulawayo Arts Awards. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Awesome. So we're coming back right after this, and we'll be talking about the journey and more. Welcome back to Airground. I'm speaking to gospel artist Everton Mlalazi, and we're talking about his music, his journey, and his impact. And just before we took a break, we're talking about the Bulawayo Arts Awards, where you won the Best Gospel Artist, an amazing achievement. And it's not the only award that he has won. He has won other awards. He has also been nominated. He has dominated some of the chart shows in Zimbabwe. One of my favorite shows was the by Yvonne Tiwachke, the Gospel Greats. And this is where I discovered your music.
Oh.
Yes, I heard your music for the first time there.
I actually need to just give a shout out to Star FM. I really appreciate that they gave me the platform. So you said you love Uyingcwele, the song.
Uyingcwele, yes.
Of all the radio stations, the radio station that gave me a chance. And when I released Uyingcwele was Star FM.
Right.
I sent it to them, they started playing it. And then the next thing I heard it was on a gospel chart show. I think within 3-4 weeks, it was #1. I think for about 5 weeks consecutive. I was really amazed at that because it was like the first song I released outside of the Vine. And just to have that, and I think that's where the encouragement to say you can now go it all alone came, and that's how Everton Mlalazi music as a brand then started going on and on and on.
Oh, great. And speaking of which, I mean, you have not just made an impact on the local charts, but your music is appreciated across the borders. You just performed at the Crown Gospel Awards. It's not easy to get to such a platform. And you were also nominated. In addition to that, you're part of the Spirit of Praise, which you're going to talk a bit more about. I have a feeling that you're one artist who is appreciated so much more beyond Zimbabwe, beyond the borders. And back at home, are you feeling the same love and appreciation? What do you think could be done if it's not?
Look, I feel the love. I think that whoever has noticed my music outside the country has managed to do it because the music has been appreciated. If you can top a gospel chart, and by the way, it's not just Star FM, it's Classic, Skies Metro, and where I come from, it's it's ZFM at some point. So if the cross section of the country's radios, even television and so on, can play your music and that music is appreciated, surely it means that people appreciate it. So for people to then notice it and begin to say, your music then is played on Tres, it's played on One Gospel, it all started from here. So I really appreciate the love. However, I also believe in, baby steps. There are, people I call generals who have been in the industry for many years. Pastor G.
Legend. I was with him yesterday. He's a living legend.
Your Mike Mahende, even Janet, I think she's celebrating 10 years now. So many artists now, and then you can even bring in, I know now, Mbanyeruke just said, I'm retiring, Babanama Charamba as well. So all of these people have been there for many years. Fungisari. For me to come in and then think I could then exactly, match their reach in 3 years, I think that is impossible. So I really appreciate the fact that, as we grow, baby steps, we will definitely grow and grow to be where it's gospel music. It's not music that can just wake up and then it's like it really takes time, I believe. And that's one other thing I wanted to say about gospel musicians. We really have to sometimes invest a lot of time, a lot of resources for them, to at least break into certain markets. So it's not easy. A show for a gospel musician has to have, proper lighting, proper this, and all of those things. If they're not there, the sound has to be on point for BVs and for the band. If those things are not there, people are like, it was a flop. Only people knew how much people go through, what people go through to just have a decent show. So for those that have done it for many years, like we mentioned those names, we really must salute them.
Talking about the quality of shows, I watched what you did with the Vine and then concert, and then I also saw the most recent Spirit of Praise line, which you're part of. That level of creative and artistic presentation, how much work goes in? Because I was watching the transition from one artist to the other, and for me it gave me a very fulfilling experience to see how even guest artists like the legendary Benjamin Dube singing Ugama Mate with you, Makana Makajes, yes. And that, how much work goes into preparing and developing such a show?
There's so much work. From, you have the whole design, design of the stage. What will it look like? Which auditorium am I using? How are you going to, have it all designed in terms of even seating arrangement, so that certain ambiences that you want to create can be created. The music itself, what music is appropriate. The Spirit of Praise has been there. They recorded their 9th album, which is Spirit of Praise 9, this year. And they were on a tour, and they chose to also tour Zimbabwe. And for them to come and try to play around with our Shona songs, that was amazing. So you have to do that, because then you have to be relevant, isn't it? You can't. They wouldn't have just come here and sing and they had to also. So all of that is work, because you have to think about who is your target. How are they going to relate to? And I believe that it was a really spirit-filled night.
It was. When I left there, I said, this is not going to be the last time I attend a gospel show.
Wow.
And
wow. I'm so happy we got a fan.
No, you did. Definitely, I'm going to be on the watch, checking out what's the next gospel show.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of impact, and I know I'm not the only person who was impacted.
Yeah.
Have you met people or fans of your music that have given testimonies to say your music has done this to me?
Oh. That is the fuel to our work. That is the fuel. Sometimes, like I said, because there's a lot that you need to put into this work.
Yes.
Sometimes you feel like, I just need to slow down. Sure. I need to stop. But what fuels it for us, to be honest, are these testimonies. At some point, I felt like I really needed to stop.
Wow. And
then I was at home when we got a phone call from a family friend.
Yeah.
I was with my wife, and then someone saying, look, we were listening to this song, Fukama Onamat, and one of our sisters was unwell.
Yeah.
So what happened is that because she had been diagnosed with cancer, she spent the last 1.5 months closed up in a room.
Wow.
Where she was not talking to anyone because she was really hurt after knowing, when the doctors then tell you that, look, we don't have much time. So she was really hurt that she didn't have more time to lose. She was saying, what did I do to deserve this? So she didn't even want to talk to anyone. But then what would happen is that she would spend time on social media, spend time on YouTube, listening to music. So she listened to Fukama. That particular day, she opened her door and began to relate with everyone and say, please come and pray with me. I know it might be my last, but you know what I leave you is prayer. This song has just changed my worldview about everything. I might, leave my last days and moments with you, but let it be so. But you guys I need to leave you with prayer. That said to me everything. You can't stop singing.
Wow.
This is amongst many comments.
Yes.
Comments on YouTube, comments on our platforms, and we've got WhatsApp numbers and etc. where people reach us and they send us lots of comments to say I was on the verge of this, I was on the verge of that, and this song is my go-to song every morning when I listen to it. So that really keeps us going.
I love this song. The version that you performed with Minister Michael Mindele. Beautiful collaboration there. And I'm a big fan of Minister Mindele. So, the way that the voices, your voice and his voice, combined, collaborated and complemented each other rather. I think, you gave new meaning to the song, because this is a song that we grew up hearing Parufu and other, events. But I think now it carries a new meaning because of what you did to the song.
It's the work of God, to be honest. If I tell you that, my team will tell you that there was a certain way we were going to do the song. And I was recording the song by myself. Okay. It so happened that Minister was in there when I was doing the live.
Okay.
And then he couldn't sit down. And my wife went and spoke to him. No, this song is doing things to me. So that's when, to tell you that particular song, the idea to collaborate was not even mine. It was not even his. It was my wife's. Because he then said, why don't you then just do it together? And Minister Mike didn't say no. I didn't say no. The next thing, he was on stage and we were just doing. So what we did there is things that we thought about on that particular night. And then we recorded the song.
And the result was beautiful.
So we cannot even think about our plans, you know, we sat down and created. The creative process was just as we were doing it.
But also encouraging that, I mean, your wife supports your dream, supports your music.
Yes, I really appreciate her for that.
Great.
Really appreciate her for that. I've been allowed her to manage the work. It helps. It helps. It helps a lot. Because sometimes you're busy and then you want to come and say, I want to go and do music. So when you want to do music, you go together.
Yeah, you go together.
So she can't say no because you're together.
Great.
Yeah.
And what are we expecting next year? 2020 is about to end.
2023 has been quite hectic, quite busy.
But fruitful for you, right?
Yes, it has been. I mean, the recognition is amazing. Again, it keeps us going.
Right.
2024 is an interesting year in many ways.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the Vine was founded in 2014. 2024 is 10 years.
That's great.
So we celebrate 10 years with another major recording. So,
right.
I mean, we're working on the music right now. We have something very, very interesting at the end of this year.
Okay, great.
Another, I mean, those that know, mid-year we released a hymns album.
Yeah.
It was just a hymns album. It was in the middle actually of releasing our album, which was the second album that we released. We then did a hymns album. But now we have a hymns one.
Okay.
Again now. It's going to feature, interestingly, some artists locally.
Okay, great.
And some from South Africa coming to just perform one or two songs on that particular one. So that one, people have to look out for it at the beginning of the year.
Awesome.
Mid-year, the Vine's release.
Yes.
And towards the end of the year, I then have to release my third album. And
so much looking forward. You heard it on Earground for the first time. The third album is coming next year.
Yes. Yeah. And I believe it's amazing out of work.
Yeah.
We have to go through all of this, you know, processes of thinking and, you know, soul searching. And we believe that God has a message that He wants to share with the people in 2024. And that message is going to come through the music that has been prepared or shall be prepared going into 2024.
Before we end, I wanted to ask about collaborations. You have done quite a number of collaborations, not only with local artists, but also with some international artists. One of my best collaborations is with the Lady Smith Black Mlalazi.
Oh yes, No Magunzi. That was an amazing song.
It's an amazing song, and the group is iconic, you know.
Certainly. I mean, you know, every time we mention that song and the collaboration with Lady Smith Black Mlalazi, I just marvel at how we worked on the song. I never felt like I'm working with 5-time Grammy award-winning group.
They were
because
humble.
They're just humble, you know, easy going. Let's do it every time. It's gonna work, and we did it. It happened as well when, as the Vine, we did Inyanga Nkulu with Soweto Gospel Choir. 3-time Grammy award winning. But then they're like easygoing, you know. Even when we said, come over to Zim, we're launching. Yes, we're coming. You can't do it without us. All the groups, they came, and it was amazing, you see. So collaborative work for me will take you places. This is my belief. I believe that when you work together and realize that we are all one in the body of Christ, we all work in different corners. This one in that corner, this one in that corner, this one in that corner. Even the way we are gifted vocally, sometimes even in our compositions, very varied and different.
True.
But all to the glory of God. So I just believe in collaborative work. That's why I'm very much open to working with many different people. And like I said, the hymns we're doing at the end of this year, which will be released at the beginning of the year, collaborative work. So many. you will find, I'm telling you, you'll be surprised who will make up the choir of that particular production.
I'm curious.
Groups that you know, but you will see that they collaborating, working together. Musicians that are doing well here in Zimbabwe, collaborating, working together. I'm excited for it, and I'm always excited when people collaborate and work together for the glory of God and to encourage people. People are going through a lot.
True.
And all they need is people with one spirit, not a fighting spirit, but a loving spirit, working together.
And talking about the loving spirit as we close off, I would have wanted to continue the conversation. So definitely going to have another conversation, maybe a couple of months from now. Your word to young people that look up to you, that desire to get into music and say, one day when I grow up, I want to make music like Everton Mlalazi. What would you say to them?
I would say to them, focus. You love the song, the message there is the message I would just say to anybody. We say kubega, which means keep going. Forward you go, don't look back. So what happens normally is that you start on something. Sometimes it's not going to make it on the first song. It's not going to be a fairy tale story for everyone, a fairy tale story to everyone. Because how when I released that song, if people then loved it. It's never going to be like that. Others will make it on the 10th song. I'll tell you a story quickly.
Yeah, sure.
You know the song Waymaker by Sinach?
Sinach, yes.
The song Waymaker by Sinach is her trademark song. It is the song that made her who she is.
Yeah, true.
But you should know one thing. Sinach recorded the song when she was in Nigeria and sang it. Yes, people loved it, but it didn't move. Wow. Some people, when I hear song and so on, in the States, got hold of the song and started singing it there. And then when they now wanted, because now it was being sung in churches for worship, when they wanted to record it, they were told, no, this song
there's a copyright.
Actually has a copyright. It is someone's song. Who is the person? She comes from Nigeria. She's called Sinach. And then that's when people started, okay, where she is, that song. I think it was only 5 years later that it started making it big. And from that time, Sinach just blossomed.
Wow, I didn't know that part of the story.
She told me the story. So that's her story. It's not always going to be like that. So I'm just saying to anybody who's out there want to do music, follow your story. Don't be, dissuaded because you've looked at someone who's done this and then the next time they were hit, the next thing they were hit. No. Some people, Joyful Praise Choir. How long did it take them? They've been there for quite some time. Then when we heard Powerhouse, it was after some time when they've been there.
True.
Design, we only recorded in 2018, Masande Fure album, when we had started in 2014. The whole time we were fighting about identity. This song, no, it doesn't work. Because we're all used to a cappella. Now we're singing with instruments, so we're fighting about, I know this one won't work, this one. So I'm just saying, but if you're focused and you have a dream, you have set aside a target or a goal to say, this is what I want to do. And no matter what comes your way that wants to pull you back, just keep going forward. Maybe on the 3rd, 4th, 5th try, you will make it. Wow.
I thought this was going to be a message to the viewers, but it also has become a message for me because I needed to hear something like this. You get a moment where you feel like, okay, I've done this. It's not getting to where I want. Okay, maybe I should try something else. But I feel encouraged, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Claude. Thank you so much for the time.
No, you're most welcome. I really appreciate because it's not always that we get to hear how artists create their music and the process that they've gone through. We always see the product. We always see them on stage and we judge them based on what we see on stage. But when we get to appreciate the amount of effort, the years that have gone in, 10 years of the Vine. That means a lot. So I really appreciate and celebrate your music and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, and thank you, listener. Thank you,
Great.
for having me.
Awesome. Well, I've been speaking there to award-winning gospel artist Everton Mlalazi. We've been talking about his music, his journey, the impact that he has made. He told us a very moving story, how his music touched a patient. And for me, I can relate so much to that because I've seen how the music has touched me, and I believe that it's also going to touch you. Check it out on YouTube and across all social media, as well as online stores. You'll definitely find a couple of your favorite tracks there. Until next time, remember, keep it locked.